Reddit Ask Me Anything. I am an intersex person with XY chromosomes and parts of both sets of genitals. Ask me anything. How has your anatomy affected your life? Good, bad, neutral? Pretty neutral, but I'd like to be able to have normal sex. I'm confused by this since you said you're asexual. Do you want to be able to just know what real sex feels like? Would you be able to have penetrative sex with your penis if you wanted to? Yeah, that's what I mean. I'd like to be able to feel what it's like. You can still get prostate stimulation through anal stimulation. If you don't have the pleasure parts of a vagina, G-spot, then it's probably in your ass. Try testing it out with a vibrator and see if it works. Yeah, I know, it does, and I have had that, but I'm asexual so I don't get that kind of pleasure. How does being asexual stop you from feeling pleasure? You said you want to feel normal sex, but would being asexual hamper that experience as well? Of course it would hamper the experience. I just want to be capable of doing it. Are both of your genitals well developed? Sorry if too personal, like do you have a micropenis and or small breasts? I ask because I met someone who was intersex identifying as female, and she said she was told that neither genital would develop much, but she now wears a 36DD and said her penis is definitely not what she'd consider small. More or less curious how your body developed if you're willing to share. Asking for a real life answer rather than what Google says a doctor said. Also saw a doctor in a video interview saying underdeveloped genitals is a thing too, but I'd rather learn from someone who lives this life. No, actually, I might be the opposite of your friend. I don't really have breasts. Chest size depends on hormone fluctuations, and I have both a mercopenis and labia. Edit. I didn't answer this as fully as I couldn't have. Sorry, but overall, Marizo underdeveloped and infertile. I identify as male, but they then is fine too, and probably more accurate. Based on what I gathered, she might just be an anomaly because she's definitely got full breasts, and while I've never seen her penis, she said it's definitely not a micropenis. Or in her own words, the doctor said it would be small, then he looked at it like it was bigger than his. I'd say that's defiantly a possibility. Most of the time the genitals look strange, are missing or have fuller parts. But I've also seen people who have totally normal genitals and breasts on her outside and may never even know. My friend didn't figure out he was XI under he was 20 since from the outside he just looks like a man. Okay, that's really amusing. What reproductive organs do you have inside you? I don't have a uterus. I have one testicle inside me. Do you produce semen then? No active sperm. No. What else, though? Do you have a vagina? Ovaries? No vagina. No ovaries or uterus. That's literally all I have. A micropenis connected to my urethra. A labia and testes at my scrotum with a G-spot in my ass. Can you fully transition to one sex? As in going full male or full female? If so, would you do that? Yes, I can get a penis transplant or start taking female sex hormones. I don't really care to do either of those, though I might change fully to male. Would a penis transplant have full feeling and everything? Are there limitations to it? There are limitations, like inability to produce active sperm, and some report lack of feeling. Do you consider intersex people as part of the LGBTQ+ community? I know this was a controversial issue a while back, but I never figured out if a consensus was reached. I'm a part of that community anyway, but no I don't. I know some intersex people do though, which is completely valid for them. When you decided to do this Ask Me Anything, what was the one question you were hoping would be asked? What is the one thing that you would like to tell us? To help educate about your particular medical condition or anything else? Thank you for being open to this. This type of Ask Me Anything can definitely bring out the trolls as I see below. I think it's awesome that you're willing to share your personal experience with us. I don't think I really wanted any specific questions. There were ones I expected, like about hormones and stuff. The main thing I'd like to educate people about is that genitals don't equal gender, but specific to my condition, that genital structure is entirely up to a gamble despite there being typical symptoms of each type of intersex disorder. Have you had an orgasm with the penis and an orgasm with the vagina? Which is better? It's not a real vagina. You can't orgasm through it. I only have parts of a vagina. Do you have hormone cycles like women and or menstruation? No, I don't. I have hormone fluctuations, but they're pretty random. How does this affect daily life? Daily life? Not much really. Sometimes people mistake my gender since I'm quite androgynous in appearance, especially in men's bathrooms. But then I speak and they realize I'm a guy. Other than that, nothing really. What gender do you identify yourself with? Male, because I look more like a male appearance wise. But honestly, I'm apathetic. Either, whatever, doesn't matter. This is a pretty interesting mindset. What is your opinion in general about gender identity? Has your being intersex given you any unique insights or ideas regarding how cis and transgender people experience and express themselves through gender? I wouldn't say unique insights, but I've done research both scientifically and of people's experiences with the psychology of it, and concluded that gender isn't assigned at birth at all. Your gender is entirely your neurology, meaning trans and non-binary people are entirely valid in their gender. When you say neurology, do you mean that it is effectively hardwired based on your brain makeup? Yes, it's been studied in transgender people that at least their psychology, usually neurology, is wired like their identified gender. Oh, 2005. I'm sorry if this comes off as blunt, but how do you pee? Not trying to be rude, just curious. I think he might mean, does the urethra connect through the penis or vagina? Oh, the penis. Where can I find images of cases like yours? I know it sounds pathetic, but I've always been curious about how it looks like, and I've googled it in the past but couldn't find a real image. Me too, to be honest. You can find a lot of diagrams on medical sites. You're better looking up intersex person rather than hermaphrodite. Have you ever had sex? Yes, but I'm asexual. With what gender and how did they react? Both. And I didn't show them my genitals. I just had sex in different ways. How did your biological makeup change your view of binary sexes? What would be a good approach to educate people who generally lack basic knowledge regarding genders? Good question. Okay, I don't think of sexes as related to gender at all really. My genitals don't affect my mental perception of gender. Your gender, whether you are male or female, is completely independent of your genitals. In my perspective, I also can't see sex or gender as a binary concept since there are so many other endocrinological, physiological and mental factors involved. I love learning about gender theory and psychology. Yes, I'd love to educate people. Do you feel different in social settings? I also have 47 XI and have always felt kind of out of place in social settings. I guess I don't really know how to describe it, but I don't think I have met someone that thought like me, acted like me. I have been described by others as charismatically awkward. I have a lot of deep friendships and get along with almost everyone. So it's not a bad thing. Just thought I'd ask since I've never met another person with XI. Sometimes. Yeah, don't know how related it is to being intersex though. It defiantly was in my childhood, but I understand what you mean about being awkward and feeling strange in social situations. I feel the same a lot, and while I get along with most people, I'm quiet and often the outsider. What gender were you assigned in school? For example, whose changing rooms did you change in? Also, you say you are male dominant in appearance? Are you as physically strong, mentally wired like a male? I couldn't be assigned one since I had no reconstruction surgery. I use disabled bathrooms to both change and use the toilet. I'm not physically strong like a male. I lack testosterone, but mentally I'm wired like one. How old are you? If you don't wanna answer that, how about your age range? I'm almost 19. And you already had sex with both sexes? Damn. Yep. And to top it off, I'm asexual and still have had sex with both. Incels have literally no excuse when someone like me can get laid. Best comment about incels ever. What advice would you give new parents of an intersex baby? Do not get genital reconstruction surgery at birth or in early life. Wait for the child to begin experiencing life and realize what gender they are. Did your parents do any gender correction surgery on you? I've watched and read a few things over the years where intersex people are voicing that this doesn't result in the best outcome for the child, such as people being made to look female but then identifying as a male once older. No, but I think that is a horrible practice, and gender reconstruction surgery shouldn't be done on babies. Sorry for the questions, but were you surprised by the amount of sexual questions? And do you tell your friends? Do all of your classmates know about you being intersex? Do you get shit for it? Yeah, I really was surprised. I don't tell anyone in my real life. Well, very few people. Were you raised male or female? Girl I went to school with was raised male, but when her hormones kicked and she started growing breast, had to change their name from a boy's to a girl's while continuing to go to the same school. A lot of people made fun of her, but she still had friends and seems confident in herself. I was raised as male. That's actually quite sad. I'm glad it ended okay, and she was able to overcome it. But I feel like intersex kids should just be raised as intersex. What's your stance on people defining themselves by a gender different from the one determined at birth? Do you take offense to this as they are not scientifically recognized as intergender, or do you feel that everyone has a right to their own body? Please don't mistake my curiosity for ignorance, as I know this can be a sensitive topic. Thanks for doing the edit. I realize is used the term intergender when you have used intersex. Honestly, just an oversight, and I actually don't know which to use, lol. Apologies. Absolutely not. Gender is not what is assigned to you at birth, and they are scientifically viable. Gender isn't binary, at least not in my experience or perception. I'm also studying a science at university. Trans people and non-binary people are valid in their gender. How did your parents treat you like when you were growing up and at school? Did the teachers and classmates all acted normal around you? Parent-wise, it didn't affect anything I can see. It was kept very confidential from teachers and peers, but I was bullied and ostracized because I looked different because of it, and often made fun of for being weaker or shorter than other boys. Did you ever have mental breakdowns cause of that? And looking back, what do you think about that part of life? No, not really. Looking back, I do feel resentful that I've been isolated and pushed into a position of being socially awkward due to lack of interaction. So how many chromosomes do you have in total then? 23.5? That's a goddamn superpower. I mean, yep, technically 23.5 pairs. 47 in total. Do you feel any pleasure from your vagina? Can you have kids? No and no. It's not a real vagina. What are your peers' reaction when you finally told them about your chromosomes? When did you tell your sexual partners and how did they take it? One of my former colleagues is also an intersex person, and she had been dating this guy for a few months before she finally told him about it. They are married now. I didn't actually tell any of my partners and they didn't see my genitals. We just had different kinds of sex. But my current partner knows. I also don't tell any of my peers. I'm happy for your friend. It can be great as an intersex person to experience a normal relationship. What was puberty like? Confusing. I had a clash of progesterone and testosterone, and estrogen. Both were really working against one another, which led to emotional difficulties, dysphoria, surrounding the growth of breast tissue during cycles of high estrogen, and a strange mishmash of male-female effects. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content. It's free and that's a great price.